So we are, Saniona is a rare disease company. We're dedicated to that, and it's a company that existed in Denmark for many years, and they were like the world's experts in ion channels, and they also had other molecules. And one of these molecules is tesomet, and tesomet is an interesting molecule because it's a combination of two different entities. One of it is a triple monoamine reuptake inhibitor and a beta blocker, and it's combined. And what the triple monoamine reuptake inhibitor does, it in a very balanced manner, it increases the levels of serotonin, dopamine, and noradrenaline. And when you combine this effect in a sort of like this very balanced way of achieving it, you improve, you reduce appetite, you improve satiety or reduce food craving. And the noradrenaline component also increases metabolic rate because they tend not to have normal metabolism. It's a little bit dysfunctional. So when you do this across the board, what happens is we've studied this in two centers in Europe. The patients with Prader-Willi tend to improve their hyperphagia as measured by the HQCT, and as concomitant with that, they lose weight in a clinically meaningful manner. So that is sort of the mechanism. And the beta blocker is there because noradrenaline being beneficial in terms of improving the metabolic rate also has can increase the heart rate a little bit, and so it's been put together with the triple monoamine reuptake inhibitor to create what we call a cardiacally neutral drug, meaning that you get the benefits of the triple monoamine reuptake inhibitor without any of the other cardiac side effects if it had not been there. So tesomet currently is we have an open IND with the FDA, and it's in phase 2, meaning that it's already in phase 2, and we are preparing to start our phase 2B trial, which will be a substantial dose-ranging trial that will initially look at Prader-Willi patients over the age of 12 to adulthood, and we'll do this phase first. And once we learn from this trial, we learn what's a proper dose, and the posology, meaning the intervals. Then we will later on study the younger children, which would be those 12 and younger. So we're doing it sequentially so we can learn from the initial studies. We are planning to start this trial in the first half of this year. So that's pretty exciting for us. We've already selected the clinical research organization. We're now identifying clinical sites. Some of the sites are beginning to identify patients that may contribute to this study. So that's going well. The other thing that's happened recently is that we were granted orphan drug designation by the FDA for tesomet, which is important. Orphan drug designation is basically a something that the Department of Orphan Drug Products grants, and it's based on a number of metrics, and one of them is is whether the population itself is less than 200,000 in the U.S. But it also looks at the unmet need. It looks at your mechanism of action. So when you get it granted, it does several things. What it does is sort of clarifies how the agency looks at you and what the medical unmet need is, and it also allows us to have some benefits. And the most important benefit from my perspective is that we are able to communicate and have a closer collaboration with the reviewing division at the FDA. So it means that we can align our studies in a way that will satisfy the agency. So when they look at the data, they can make a proper assessment of the value or risk benefit of tesomet for PWS.